Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Top Row Rowdy Part 4, Episode 50.
50 people.
50,
50.
nifty 50.
Nifty 50, I like it.
And we're going to talk about the Hall of Fame. Not our Hall of Fame, that'll
No.
be coming up soon.
That will be that'll probably be next week.
It may be next week.
It's the week before WrestleMania. I think it should be
It
next
will
week.
be next week, you're right.
But, ladies and gentlemen, we want to call this Yes, No, Maybe.
That's yes!
No.
No.
Maybe. Okay. We want to talk about the person. We've got 3 names.
Yes.
We'll give our opinions on this of the yes, no, and maybe. And we've kind of talked about this ahead of time, of course. We'll talk about the greatest to the least is the way we go to it.
Yes.
The yes, no, and then the maybe, or the yes, maybe, and then the no. I don't know.
Every year, Vince and them sit down.
And they discuss
They
who's
talk
going
about
to
who should be on. They talk to the people, and they go, I would love to be in. Okay, you're in. I don't want to be in. Okay, well, sorry you don't want to be in. Maybe we'll try another year.
Right. But in this case, a lot of these people are overlooked.
There are
Altogether, or there's circumstances where they can't go in at all.
They burn bridges and they hadn't been repaired yet.
And throughout weeks, I mean, it may not be every single week, and it may be every week. You never know. But we'll discuss different names. We've found a list of 300 people.
Yes,
So we got plenty of material for this.
We got plenty of time.
Plenty of time. But what we want to talk about is the yes, that the person should be going in.
100%.
100%.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it. This man should already, or woman, should already be in the Hall of Fame.
Our manager? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, there's no, we're not being sexist at all. It could be a man, it could be a woman, it could be a tag team, it could be a manager, it could be a celebrity. You never know. Absolutely. The yes this week is the Blackheart, the Nugget, the Rocket,
The Blue Blazer.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Owen Hart.
Yes, and Owen Hart should have been in already.
Yes.
And it hates me. It just tears me up inside.
Yes.
I just hate it that his wife wants to be this stubborn.
Yes, and there's 2 bullet points about this. The reason he should definitely go in, that he will be the one to go in, is he's a great wrestler who was beloved by his peers. Everyone says such a great ripper, such a great great human being, such a family man, and that they all loved him. There was never a bad word said about Owen Hart.
And if she doesn't want to come to the Hall of Fame and induct her husband,
Brett can do it.
Brett can do it.
Exactly.
You're right. There's plenty of people. Even it's Brett, it's plenty of people who would be an honor to induct Owen into the Hall of Fame.
Exactly. And they're saying, of course, the bullet point of why he won't go in is because his wife has that grudge against the WWE, that she has a lawsuit against him or whatever, where they can't really discuss him and they can't do anything with his name. I mean, they've done the Hart Family DVDs, which he's been involved in it, but they haven't made big deals about him.
This is hurting not just herself and hurting her children.
Right.
I mean, I hate that it happened, and accidents happen. They could have done it 100 times and never happened.
Right.
But it happened. He died. It was a mistake that the people who made that decision has to live with still to this day.
Yep.
But I mean, how much the fans are missing out on Owen because his wife wants to be so stubborn? I don't like that part.
Right. And we're not saying that, of course, we know his wife misses him. It's not just about the fans, obviously. But obviously, I mean, with this situation, the WWE, they're going to walk on eggshells with the situation, of course. But at the same time, though, they're going to treat her with kid gloves. They're going to treat her well. They're going to treat her whole family to the 9. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes.
Like the Taj Mahal. You know what I'm saying? Like, if she would just, say, look, it sucks that this happened, and we all just need to move on and let's honor him. Because, I mean, it's not about the WWE. It's about honoring her husband.
Right.
You know, for the work he did in his life. Yes, he wasn't always going to be a wrestler, and they even talked about that before, that his wife said that his dream was just to make the money that he could make in wrestling, retire while he was still young enough, and then go on to become a firefighter and be home every night with his family. That's great. That's wonderful. Everything happens for a reason.
Oh, yes. I mean,
freak accidents do happen.
Who says he wouldn't get caught in a fire and die?
Right.
So, I mean, you know.
It's just, I mean, it's sad. It's sad.
She should let the fans honor Owen.
Right.
Because that's what, in the end, that's what, you know.
And I think she'd be pleasantly surprised if she let her guard down and let him go in the Hall of Fame. I think that she would be surprised by the reception that her husband will get.
Oh, yes.
By not only the WWE office, but by the fans, by the current wrestlers. I think they would embrace the situation.
Because you listen, up to this year, who, you got to say, who was the top two names who haven't been in? Savage and Owen.
Yes. And now we got Savage, you know.
And maybe Hunter, maybe in a few years, Hunter can fix the bridge and
He
Owen?
fixed the bridge with Bruno. He fixed the bridge with Owen. I mean, not Owen, with Warrior.
Yes.
And you know, now and then they convinced Sting to come into the WWE. I mean, he's fixing bridges. I mean, Alundra Blaze. I wouldn't be surprised if he fixed that bridge.
I know. So maybe it won't happen.
So then the might be, this person has a career that's good enough that we could say, yes, this person could go in.
Yes.
But the thing that will stop it is the powers that be.
Yes. But this guy, I could see this guy going in. He could go in. He might go in. And that's Kevin Sullivan, the Games Master.
Taskmaster.
Who's Game Master too?
The who?
Game.
The Game Master.
Yes. Taskmaster.
Way
Game
before
Master.
my time.
Yes.
Woo! Getting old, aren't you?
I am getting
So
old.
anyway,
Well, yeah, Jake and him.
The plus for him, the bullet point for him going in is that he did create one of the best characters in all of wrestling history. I mean, everybody was like, oh, he's so demonic and all this kind of stuff. He never once did seances. He never once talked about Satan. He never once did any of that. It's how you perceive it. He just lets you perceive what you wanted to perceive. And that time period, that era, that kind of stuff was freaked out about. People freaked out about that kind of stuff. But the reason why they're saying that he will not go in, this is according to that website, the reason why he will not go in is because of his association with Chris Benoit. That will make him untouchable. They could still show his career without talking about Benoit. They don't have to talk about Nancy.
They've got early stuff when he was, like I said, he was
Varsity Club.
He's part of the Legion of Doom. He's with Jake and all them.
There you go.
All that time.
I mean, all the NWA stuff, the before Benoit was ever around.
Oh yes.
The Taskmaster stuff with Hogan, stuff in WCW. You know, they've got plenty of material. And plus, to get to talk about, you know, his behind-the-scenes influence in WCW and the NWA, they've got plenty of material to go on without, you know, having to bring up that hurtful time period of Nancy leaving him and then Benoit killing the family, blah, blah, blah.
That could never be brought up, and you could do his whole career pretty much. And,
yes.
And
but I will say this on a side note, and I know this is, you know, I'm not trying to open up old wounds, but honestly, if she would have never left Kevin, I think she'd still be alive. And that's the sad part about it.
But you never know that.
But you never know. She may have been miserable with Kevin. You don't know.
No.
We don't know the behind-the-scenes situation of their marriage.
No.
So either way, things happen, and it is what it is. But that is the maybe.
Maybe.
The no this week, the not at all, this ain't going to happen, will be one of the big-time luchadors, if you will. Before, like right when WCW started doing the luchador thing, he was one of the main ones they started with, and he's a huge name in Mexico. His name is Conan. And no, the reason he's not going to go in is not because of Maximum.
No.
But it's not the reason. The reason why they're saying that he will go in is because WWE likes to promote Mexican wrestlers.
They do.
They do like to do that. They said the reason why he won't go in is they have other Mexican wrestlers to draw from.
Yes.
And here, I will elaborate on this. I believe that because of the heat that he has with the company, I don't think, and you know, they fixed bridges before.
They do. I mean,
they fixed bridges.
Conan could go in next year.
That's
in
true.
Texas.
They've fixed bridges before, but I honestly do not think he will go in. He's been very vocal against the company. Just like with TNA's Hall of Fame. Conan won't go in there either.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with him, he's with Ray. He's siding with Ray. He'll side with Del Rio and all that kind of stuff. It's just, it's a touchy situation right now.
Yeah.
They've got to handle that with kid gloves too because of lawsuits and stuff like that.
As of this day, we say no.
No on Conan, and that's just, it is what it is. And that's going to be it for the yes, no, and maybe this week. And of course, wrestlers who Hogan refused to lose against. Number 9 out of our 10-week program here, Mr. Perfect Curt Hennig.
Yes.
Mr. Perfect was generally regarded as one of the greatest pro wrestlers of all time by so many fans of the industry, as well as so many current and past superstars.
That is true. Some of them mocked their career after Mr. Perfect.
That's true. Look at Dolph Ziggler.
Of course.
While a good babyface, he was a truly masterful heel.
He was.
After some so-so appearances in the WWF between 82 and 84, Hennig returned to the company as Mr. Perfect in 1988, who was supposed to be Terry Taylor.
Yes.
We've all seen the classic vignettes and the promos showing moments of perfection from Hennig, and those videos mixed with his arrogant persona saw the character get over huge as a heel in Vince McMahon's organization. Perfect would go on to be undefeated on television for over a year before he would align himself with The Genius as his manager.
The Genius.
The Genius.
That name sounds familiar.
Lanny Poffo. This was soon followed by
Which was a great thing for Lanny Poffo to become the Genius.
Yes, it was. It was the best thing for him. This was soon followed by Hennig's eyes becoming focused on Hulk Hogan's WWF title. Things were starting to heat up as the Genius would have actually defeat Hogan by countout, and then Mr. Perfect and his manager would steal and smash up Hulkster's championship belt, which later on became the Hardcore Championship.
No, it didn't.
It did not.
No,
That's not the same one.
It's not the same one.
Really?
Yep.
Where'd you see this at?
I saw it. I think even Mick Foley said it.
That was
If you look at it, it's not the same belt, no.
That was thought that was the wing.
I always thought it was too, but it's not the same belt.
Interesting. I'll have to look that up. Hogan and Perfect would end up as the final two competitors in the 1990
Yes, and boy was I pulling for
Rumble.
And boy was I pulling for Perfect.
With Hogan coming out the victor from there, Perfect dropped down to the mid-card and would wind up losing to Brutus Beefcake, a good buddy of Hogan's.
Wow.
At WrestleMania 6.
Nice to have that rub, don't it?
That's right. Despite how hugely hated the arrogant Mr. Perfect was, Hogan was said to never have even contemplated losing to Hennig at any point. Given this was the days where Hogan was used to feuding and defeating formulatic monster heels. Last week I said monster baby faces. I don't know what. The slightly smaller stature of Hennig was deemed as no threat to Hulkster's championship. Hennig would go on to defeat Tito Santana to win the Intercontinental Championship later that year, become one of the very best IC champions of all time. At a later date, he would start to gain a lot of fan support in WCW as part of the Four Horsemen, and some were even talking him up as a challenger to Hollywood Hogan's WCW title.
No.
Like so many, Hennig ended up joining the NWO before winding up as a member of the B Team, pretty much falling into the obscurity of the late 90s WCW. If Hogan didn't want to feud with you, you joined NWO.
Yeah. Or you were on his side. You were like with Jake last week.
Yep.
Oh, they're loving Jake. We need to turn Jake face.
Mm-hmm.
I can't face to face. We two good guys.
That's right. Can't do two good guys in a match.
It's that really sucks. And
Back then, it was about size.
back then it was about size. Hogan beat all the monster
But if Perfect
heels.
was around now with the Daniel Bryans and the Sami Zayns and all that, he'd be perfect. Oh, we are so good.
And then John Cena would say, "I'm the man who runs this place, and you can't crush this ceiling without, I put my foot on
the
your head."
face that runs this place.
That's
Yes.
right. And I think if you look at it, John Cena, it kind of has some Hogan traits.
He does. Even though he says he don't mind putting anybody over.
Yeah.
Well, then go to the office. I refuse to win this match.
Yes, go tell why didn't Bray Wyatt win WrestleMania last year?
I'm telling you.
And why are you going to defeat Rusev at this year's WrestleMania? So.
Which that just makes sense though, with the whole Russia and the USA.
Yeah, but it's going to kill Rusev though.
Of
John
course
Cena
it
doesn't
is.
need it.
That
would be the bigger shock. Would be Rusev to beat John Cena.
That's true. And he would go on to be a huge monster heel. But
that's another discussion.
I believe if he
for
loses,
another day,
he
because
may become mid-carder again.
Because the two biggest guys in the company right now, Cena and Bryan, are going for the mid-card titles.
They are.
Which is good.
It is a good thing.
Now, if Cena can walk out the United States champion and Bryan walks out the Intercontinental champion, That will only help the titles.
It will
I
help the
believe.
titles, but here's the thing.
If there isn't crap all over them and you go, well, you got the title, Brian, because it's not going to be Cena, you're going to lose. You're going to lose this match. You're going to lose this match.
Right.
What the?
But the way they need to do this is Cena, if he has the U.S. belt, they need to build up his challenger, the big heel. I mean, Rusev doesn't need the belt again, in my opinion, but
it will be that for a few pay-per-views.
Of course, but when John Cena loses, they need to build up that challenger to such a stature that it makes it a big deal when he beats John Cena.
But who?
But who?
Who?
Who? I don't know.
I mean, the next big heel who could go after the United States title would be Luke Harper.
That's true.
We don't need Kane.
We don't need
a Big Show.
You see
Seth's going to be busy being the World Heavyweight Champion.
He better be.
So,
see where after WrestleMania is Big Show and Roman Reigns in the house shows?
I saw that, yes.
Oh my gosh, people! Retire already, buddy.
They need to.
They said who will retire first, Kane or Big Show? Throw Mark Henry's name in there too, please.
You're right.
Make
That could be a
tie.
discussion. That could be a discussion for part 4.
Woo.
Well, that is it for this week. I want to thank
it.
everybody for watching the show. Next week's going to be huge. We're going to talk about WrestleMania.
In an undisclosed location. The whole episode.
The whole card should be filled. The
Yes,
whole
it better
WrestleMania
be.
card should be filled. There should be no ifs, ands, and buts
We'll
about
still
it.
have countdowns. We'll still talk about Hogan refusing to lose against people.
Yes,
But
I think next time is. I think next is.
Number 8.
Number 8 is Randy Savage, I think.
Interesting. But
Savage.
yes, we'll look at that, and we'll talk about our own Hall of Fame, which is going to be different this year.
Yes, last
not
year
be 2 people.
he picked one, I picked one.
Yes, it will
now
be.
it'll be 10 people going in.
10.
You said 5 and 5.
Oh yeah, that's right. My gosh, don't scare me like that.
5. He picks 5.
Woo! I was like, I didn't pick 10 people. Oh God.
5 and 5 makes 10.
That is true.
It's all right.
It scared me.
Like you're needing.
Scared me. But yes, we will pick our own peoples or whatever, and it will be.
Yes.
And Gargle, he's going to be here, so we may tell him to get his Hall of Fame people.
Me too.
That will be interesting.
So,
but yes, he will have all kinds of things to talk about, and we will talk all about WrestleMania, and we will film some different topics from him as well. It's going to be a big episode. It may just be just as big as 52.
That is true.
It's very interesting. This whole lead up to 52 has been very good. I'm enjoying this, and it's just getting bigger and better.
Day by day.
Day by day.
So, well, I thank you again for watching, and we'll catch you next week for Top Rope Reality. I'm Mike Hogan.
And I'm Justin Cotter.
And we'll see you at the matches. At the ringside, off the top rope.
That's true. See you off the top rope. I like
See
that
you
one.
off the top rope.